This video, we're going to dive deep into the inside linebackers. Honorable mentions, though, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of great talent out here. There's a lot of great players in the league, and that is the captain of the defense most of the time is going to be that inside linebacker, middle linebacker presence. So, yeah, let's get it started with Caden Ellis of the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, has had some great seasons, but more of a late bloomer because he definitely shows up here after not showing up in previous years for me. But Caden Ellis has been so impactful for the Atlanta Falcons defense. He's just been a tackling machine, and he's just been all around the field, man. A game wrecker. 30 years old, 6 years in the league, 1 year, $6.75 million on the deal. 17 games played, 151 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 16 QB hits, 5 sacks, 1 interception, 3 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He was sixth in combined tackles, and he was ninth in solo tackles. Great year. Obviously, definitely need to watch for him this year, and I hope that he continues the trajectory that he's going. And honestly, he could definitely see himself in a defensive player of the year voting if he continues the way he's playing the game. Next, we got Terrell Bernard of the Buffalo Bills. Definitely came into his own this year. Obviously, with Edmonds being gone for the past couple years, obviously the Bills needed to find an inside linebacker that's going to play every down, play every game, be reliable, and be a pretty good leader to this team that obviously has a slight championship window still open. Um, you know, and Terrell Bernard definitely did the job. So, last year he was honorable mention. This year he's honorable mention. I definitely believe that his game is getting better with each year, and he's definitely getting better at playing the position of linebacker inside. So, 26 years old, 4 years in the league, 4 years, $42.14 million extension that he got from Buffalo. Played 13 games, had 104 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 3 pass deflections, and 1 fumble recovery. The 3 playoff games, he had 16 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. Overall, definitely an underrated player, a guy that definitely doesn't get enough credit, and definitely a good leader and a good building block to this Buffalo Bills defense, which obviously is looking to do a lot more than just AFC Championship games and playoff games. They want to get to February and go to a Super Bowl. So, Terrell Bernard, they can hopefully he can lead them there. We got Josie Jewell. Couldn't find anything from Carolina. He actually got released last month, so later last month, so like maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, which is really surprising. But I believe he's going to go into a new team that's hopefully contending because he definitely brings championship caliber play to his position. Josie Jewell, 30 years old, 7 years in the league. He had 12 games that he played. He had 97 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits, 3.5 sacks, 1 interception, 7 pass deflections, and 2 fumble recoveries. So, yeah, he was really impactful for Carolina. And wherever he goes next, I would like to see him play because, again, very underrated. Not a lot of people talk about him, but he's been doing a great job in Denver when he was there. He did a great job in Carolina, so someone's got to give him a chance, and definitely it will impact and obviously make that defense better having a player like Josie Jewell. Next up is Christian Roseboom, the ex LA Ram is now going to Carolina. So again, they replaced Josie Jewell with Christian Roseboom, who's a couple years younger. Definitely has potential of being pretty productive, and he's reliable, playing all 17 games last year. So good for him. I definitely believe, for Carolina, I think it's a good friendly deal that they gave him, and I believe that he could be pretty productive. He's 20 years old, 5 years in the league. 1 year, $2.5 million again for the Panthers. He did play 17 games, like I said, 135 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1 QB hit, 1 sack, 1 interception, 4 pass deflections. The 2 games played that he played in the playoffs with the Rams, he had 15 tackles. I think he's definitely another underrated linebacker who's definitely getting better with his craft, and I definitely want to see what he's going to do in the coming year. Up, we have Dre Greenlaw, who is now a Denver Bronco. Obviously, he had issues with injuries, so he didn't play that many games as a Niner. But it really doesn't matter. I think he's going to go into it being motivated, knowing that, hey, I have something to prove. He was number three on the outside linebacker list last year. So, yes, he is a star in the making and, a superstar in the making. And, he's proved exactly how good of a player he can be. So, I think with a healthy him, it just makes the Denver defense look even scarier. You're looking at 28 years old, 6 years in the league, 3 years, $31.5 million. He only played 2 games, so 9 tackles. Somehow was 19th on the comeback player of the year voting, so that's kind of weird. But I mean, overall, I think Dre Greenlaw has been tremendous, and I'm excited to know what he's going to do this year. We do have a honorable mention of last year. Now honorable mention again. Definitely a young guy that's definitely getting better with time. A great draft pick that the Jaguars have made, and Devin Lloyd. I think he's been productive. I think he's a key leader, and I'm excited to see what he does, especially this year, because he has the ability of impacting the game. 26 years old, 3 years in the league, 1 year, $2.46 million in the rookie contract. 16 games played, 113 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 5 QB hits, 2 sacks, an interception, 4 pass deflections, and 1 forced fumble. Again, I'm excited to see what he does. He's a young linebacker, and yeah, he could be extremely helpful for Jacksonville, and hopefully he can go to a different team though. Next, we got Jordan Brooks of the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, I mean, he's been productive since he's entered the league. Learned from the best in Bobby Wagner, a future Hall of Famer. So, came into a really good situation. Went to Miami, and he's been a pretty stout linebacker and extremely important to that defense. Obviously, that defense is pretty. It's pretty sketchy, in terms of the talent. There's some pieces, but not everything's there. Jordan Brooks though is great. 27 years old, 5 years in the league, 2 years, $16.75 million. 17 games played, 143 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 6 QB hits, 3 sacks, 6 pass deflections, and 2 fumble recoveries. He was eighth in solo tackles and 10th in combined tackles. Yeah, honestly, deserving of being here. He was an honorable mention last year. Hope to see him in the top 10 eventually. Next up, it's Robert Spillane of the Las Vegas Raiders, or ex Las Vegas Raider, mind you. Robert Spillane, tremendous player, very underrated. Definitely a guy that's all over the field, flying around, creating havoc, and was a pretty big piece for the Raiders defense. Now, moving on, I think it's a huge departure for the Raiders. I feel like they should have at least tried to sign him because he has a lot in the tank, but, Raiders be Raidering. So, um, whatever. Yeah, 29 years old, 6 years in the league. He signed with the New England Patriots, which was a great sign for him, especially when they're trying to rebuild and trying to be a playoff contender. I think it's great to have a linebacker like Robert Spillane there. 3 years, $33 million. 17 games played, 158 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 7 pass deflections. He was third in combined tackles. He was sixth in solo tackles. Yeah, again, tackling machine, but nobody really understands like the ability of what he's able to do on every facet of his position. So great job for him, and I'm excited to see what he does next year in New England. I got Bobby Okriki, who last year was actually number 9 on the inside linebacker list. He drops honorable mention, honestly, because of the games played, and a couple linebackers that definitely, came into their own and blossomed, and definitely had some great stats. It was hard not to put him on there. So, but Okriki is definitely a guy that's always on the borderline of honorable mention and being on the top 10. He's just a super special, talented player in Indianapolis. He's made his way, he's made it home in New York and played for the Giants, and he's done a great job at that. But yeah, I mean, he's still fantastic when he is healthy. 29 years old, 6 years in the league, 2 years, $17.95 million. 12 games played, 93 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 QB hits, 2 sacks, 3 pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. He was ninth in forced fumbles. Yeah, he's active. He gets to the ball, and he has a nose for trying to make plays. So I really do enjoy Okriki, and I think he's a very entertaining player. Okay, honorable mention, Nakobe Dean. Yeah, Nakobe Dean in a very, very, very good Philadelphia Eagles defense. Obviously, one of the top three defenses in the league. They were number one, obviously, last year. Definitely going to be top three this year. Along with all these stars, man, you're going to have a guy like Nakobe Dean, who has been very impactful for this team, and he's definitely going to be a pretty pivotal piece to their inside linebacking core. So Nakobe Dean's so young, 24 years old, 3 years in the league, 1 year, $1.41 million left on his rookie deal. So this is the time to excel and get his big money. 15 games that he played, 128 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 6 QB hits, 3 sacks, 1 interception, 4 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. In the one game he played in the playoffs, he had 6 tackles for 2 tackles for loss. He's a Super Bowl champion. He was also 17th in comeback player of the year. So, yeah, congrats on him, and I hope to see him get even better with time. Next up, we have Ernest Jones of the Seattle Seahawks. I think this is a really good pick here to have. He was honorable mention last year. He was in LA, started out in Tennessee, went to Seattle. Definitely a pretty pivotal piece to this team, and definitely Seattle's defense getting even better with time and with the seasons so far. So they have a defensive-minded coach coming from Baltimore, and now they just got some key pieces at the defensive spot. So Ernest Jones is a great piece. 25 years old, 4 years in the league, 3 years, $28.5 million that he signed with Seattle. 16 games played, 138 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, a half sack, 1 interception, 4 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does. I think he's got Pro Bowl potential, and I just want to see how he's going to adjust playing a full season in Seattle, and hopefully the scheme is good for him. It seems like it is, and I definitely want to see the contributions he does next year. Next up, I have Tremaine Edmonds of the Chicago Bears. Yeah, I couldn't really find any highlights of him in Chicago, but I had to find it in Buffalo. Either way, he's been a pretty reliable veteran. He has years where he definitely gets injured. I know he had a couple of those in Buffalo. I think he was a pretty key piece to that team early on when they were starting to contend, or looking like a really good Super Bowl contending team. But yeah, he's made his way to Chicago, and he's done a pretty good job there. Definitely has roughly the same amount of numbers every year. So he is borderline top 10, but he's right now just honorable mention because, the numbers have still stayed the same and there's just players that just got better than him. And, it is what it is, but he's still solid. 27 years old, 7 years in the league, 2 years, $30 million, 17 games played, 110 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, 1 sack, 1 interception, 8 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. Yeah, solid veteran. Definitely a guy that's been around in the league for a while, and definitely a good leader for Chicago for sure. Okay, next up, Jermaine Pratt. Jermaine Pratt's been a pretty important piece to the Cincinnati Bengals defense that, at times just look really questionable. But they are developing. They're looking to be better, but they're not going to do it with Jermaine Pratt anymore. Jermaine Pratt, solidified himself and got a pretty good deal to be a Raider. So again, they got rid of Spillane and they got Jermaine Pratt. So they had a Carolina situation there. And that's not a bad sign for them. He's honorable mention last year. He's honorable mention again. 29 years old, 6 years in the league, has 1 year, $4.26 million with the Raiders. It's a prove it deal. He played 17 games. He had 143 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 4 QB hits, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. He was 10th in combined tackles. So, again, I think he's going to bring what Spillane did to the Raiders. And I mean, it's a good sign. I think they'll do well. They'll do well for Cincinnati. It's definitely, I think, a pretty big departure because now where do they go from here? But overall, Jermaine Pratt very underrated. I like to see him here. Now we have honorable mention. Last year honorable mention. Patrick Queen. Yeah, Patrick Queen has been, uh, he's been good. Um, he's been pretty decent with Pittsburgh. Seems like he's kind of, you know, taking a pretty good role there. It's hard to acknowledge a guy who played for my team and now is in a very, very heated rival of mine. So, yeah, it's sad just to say that, but yeah, no, he's been great and definitely has had his impact with the Steeler defense. Patrick Queen, 25 years old, 5 years in the league, 2 years, $27.16 million left in the deal. He played 17 games, 129 tackles, had 6 tackles for loss, 5 QB hits, 1 sack, 7 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, or 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. The one playoff game, he had 10 tackles and a tackle for loss. He was a Pro Bowler this year. So, overall, fantastic stuff from him. I do believe, Pittsburgh has a win-win situation with this signing, and he's young, and hopefully, uh, for his benefit, he can get better. But for me, I hope that you know he doesn't explode even more and impact games, Ravens Steeler games. Lastly, but not least, it is the retirement of C.J. Mosley, man, which is crazy to me. Very surprising because he had a great year this year. Honestly, would have been a top 10 type of inside linebacker, man. And yeah, he would have definitely given me a run for my money in terms of the list. I mean, I would have had a really hard time not to put him on there. So, yeah, honestly, I'm excited to see what his future upholds. I hope that he can go into coaching, and I hope that he can, benefit the game because it would be great to have a mind like C.J. Mosley, smart football player since he's been out of Alabama, helped my team, the Baltimore Ravens, with that defense, was a major part of it. Went to New York and was pretty solid for the Jets. So overall, CJ Mosley played 10 years, Baltimore and New York, had 132 games played, had over 1,000 tackles, had 55 tackles for loss, 40 QB hits, 12 interceptions, two of them for touchdowns. 53 pass deflections and 10 forced fumbles. He did play 3 games in the playoffs, 31 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. He was a 5 time second team All Pro member, a second in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting in 2014, an All Rookie team in 2014, and a 5 time Pro Bowler. So, yeah, overall, great career for him. And yeah, I want to see what he does in the next stage of his life.